Host Eric here. Welcome to Talking with Famous People. Tonight, I'm going to be discussing with you one of my very favorite personality types, the INFJ. I hope to give you a quick and thorough analysis of the type and hope to provide you some additional insight into your own nature or the nature of a loved one. I'm also going to make a recommendation about type matching for the INFJ personality type for a mate and some of the potential risks of being an INFJ, along with some of the potential strengths. For the record, I am an ENTP, not an INFJ. And I, however, have a great deal of experience with at least one specific INFJ that I know very well, who fits in the general category of best friend. All right, so INFJ. Cognitive functions. N-I-F-E-T-I-S-E. N-I-F-E-T-I-S-E. I'm going to start in the middle, the F-E and the T-I. Note that those two middle functions, F-E-T-I, are the same two middle functions as the ENTP, except in reverse order. Okay, so I have T-I-F-E, you've got F-E-T-I. Now let's talk about the 1-4s. The 1-4s are your inverse proportionality functions. So your NI is going to be 8 times as strong, so to speak, as your SE. NI is a much preferable, in my opinion, function to have the dominant function, because what it essentially is dichotomy, or solvency that is discovered rather than created. So, an extroverted intuitor made the light bulb and stuff. An introverted intuitor figured out pi, the number. That's discovered truth as opposed to manufactured truth or created truth, or whatever you want to call it. So, the key thing here is that introverted intuition comes at the issue of truth, and really intuition is about the issue of truth. That's what it is doing its work upon, okay? Introverted intuition comes upon the issue of truth from the angle that it already exists and is static and can be discovered, and that it is the problem that is evolving and moving around, and ideally that the discovered solution would pin it down, prevent it from moving. In contrast, the ENTP approaches truth from an angle of the problem is that it's not moving around, and we need to disrupt the stasis. So our primary function might be called the disrupt function. Extroverted intuition is the disrupt function because it goes into any environment, situation, context, looking for vulnerability. Not to exploit for personal gain or something like that. Don't be confused by that word vulnerability. A vulnerability in a problem means producing a solution. In other words, well, there's a problem here. Oh, I see the weak spot in the problem's continued existence. Remembering that a problem is itself a time object, requires energy to sustain its existence. Therefore, it's a matter of discovering how that given problem is getting its energy fed into it, and how to disrupt that is a necessary operative of the scope of human existence for the system to function properly as a whole. So, we lead with disruption, you lead with finalization. That means on some level we sound opposite, but we're not. Your finalization simply means, okay, we have a problem here. How is this species going to survive? How's this gene pool going to continue? We're going to use dichotomy and turn one of us into a female. And the extroverted intuition side says, no, we'll have mutation, and it'll be a our your genes and my genes will mix them together, and something new will come out, and it'll have potentially something useful that we can improve the species with that way. So understanding that fundamentally both extrovert and introverted intuition are dealing with the same jurisdiction, which is truth, from a different perspective, which is discovered versus created, then we have a good sense of how complementary NI and NE can be. If you have an NE Dom and an NI Dom sitting together and riffing off of each other, you can get some magic going on, for sure. I know because I've made a lot of media in the past with my friend that I'm referring to, and some of what, and it was quite a long time ago. I'd like to think I've become more reliable in terms of my aesthetic choices and editing choices and stuff now than I was 10 years ago. But sifting through some of that raw material from 10 years ago where he and I were making a lot of media, I'm struck by how complementary both of our styles are, and I'm struck by how you can hear the difference between introverted and extroverted intuition quite clearly, how it gets to the same place from a different direction, and how we learn from one another. And I also think that for people who are very active in creating stuff, making aesthetic choices on the fly a lot, I think the reason why I'm so attracted to music in general, and especially to freestyles, is because that's where the barrier between the two understandings of truth is thinnest. When your conscious mind is occupied by the demands of manifesting the time object you're trying to manifest, then, and if that time object you're trying to manifest is not, and this is what I mean by conscious mind has to be occupied enough. Well, it only gets occupied enough when you are freestyling. Then you have no free consciousness left to meta. And ultimately, the mechanism of extroverted intuition is metaing up. And the mechanism of introverted intuition is to realize it was standing there all along. I don't know how to express that, It's like, yeah. You mean it was within me the whole time? Okay, so now I and INFJ have talked a lot about the introverted intuition and extroverted intuition thing. Let's talk about the extroverted sensing. As extroverted sensing, you are basically seeing other people, other human beings, as you do truth, which is influx and needing to be locked down. Now, when I say that about your SE, remember this. That is your weakest function and the one you're going to try to run around. You never want to do that at all. Because in your fourth slot, you're leading with the NI, even though that's what SE does, it wants to get the people in its life clearly marked boxes. I don't mean control them. That's TE more. SE, it means you want to understand them as, she's my jogging buddy, and that's it, or he's my boss. You want people to fit clearly in distinct boxes, and you want to understand who they are and how they are as it relates to you. If you're an extrovert and you're leading with that extroverted sensing, then it's very much, ideas are mostly irrelevant. You have it in the fourth slot, which means you're going to try to organize, you're going to try to get your knowledge, your distinct static knowledge of other people. You're going to try to make that set as best you can. So you're going to really look hard for confirmation of the determinations you've made about people. You want them to stay in the box very badly. If you're down to SE. If you're down to SE, okay? That's the thing. You're probably not going to have to go down there very often. Just like I don't really have to go to SI that often. Sometimes I got to regulate my schedule and my all that kind of shit and follow the rules. Sometimes I do. For the most part, I manage to flush that stuff out of my life. Depending on where you're at, you may have flushed out of your life the need to name, box, and put away the identities of other people that you have implicit in you. And you do have that implicit in you. And I don't think it's a good thing. But then I don't ever put any boxes away. In fact, I don't ever even finish quite putting together all the boxes because I'm so busy connecting them to the other boxes and doing all sorts of random shit with them. But you like your boxes. You rely on them to a certain extent. It's a place where you push off from. As ENTPs, we have to push off from the unseen. We don't have any visible places to push off from to our consciousness. Only people have at least one space function, and you have to have at least 2 or 0 or 4. They have plenty of places to push off from. But if you have the more space things you have, the more you know where you are, and the less you know where you're going. The more time things you have, the more you know where you're going, and the less you know where you are. And then that manifests as the more time things you have, you know where you're going, you don't know where you are, and you have no idea of how long it's going to take to get there. So, that's me. I'd rather be you, I think. I don't know. For you, it's like you know where that other guy is, and he's not going anywhere, and you know how to make sure he stays happy right there too. He's gonna like the living shit out of you. You're so likable, aren't you, INFJ? Oh my God, you're so likable. Aren't you a charismatic fucker? Aren't you walking around town and pressing the shit out of everybody? Doesn't everybody love you, INFJ? They do, don't they? They love you. You know why they love you so much? It's because you've got FE in the second slot, so you're very much attentive to other people's emotions. You don't have a good sense of how they feel about you, just like ENTP doesn't have a particularly great sense of how they feel about me either. But what you do have is a clear sense of how you want them to feel about you, and a clear ability to access data and think about it regarding how you think they feel about you. But you still fundamentally view them as objects, not as evolving things. Why? FE. FE. And then you think the solution about them is to be discovered. That doubles up the stasis you apply to other people. So, careful with that. And note, it's SE means you're talking about others and systems or groups. When I say others, it's distinct from groups. And groups fits under systems, not under others. So, look, you're very prone to locking in your opinion about things. Try to fight that. That's a weakness. You're very good at convincing other people that you're magic. Because you are. It's true. The INFJ I know, he's pretty magic. I mean, look, I'm a competitive kind of wizard and all, but he's pretty magic. My magic, you can deconstruct it. You can walk back the associative chains, you see how I did it, realize it's not really magic. Introverted intuition? Spooky magic, right? So anyway, INFJ, there are, in my opinion, 2 different types that you should possibly get with as a relationship partner. ISTJ is one of them. No, I'm sorry, not ISTJ. ISFJ is one of them, because we're looking for a partner who's got the 2 middle things the same, FE and TI, in either order. So you're looking for ISFJ, you're looking for ENTP, you're looking for ESTP. Okay, so those are your 3 mates, according to my analysis. You should pick, and this is true for every type. You can just look at here right now and find out for yourself. I think you should pick the one with the same. So, like, same 2 middle ones, but it doesn't matter the order. ESFJ, like you have SINE, you should be with ESTJ or INTP or INFP. Yeah. Okay, that's it for this video. I think I'm going to put this one up. I've tried this video a lot of times. I think this one's going up. I'm happy with it.